I'm going to go over what you need to do in order to duplicate your voice track. All right? So you have your music and your voice. You select your voice track simply by just clicking over here where it's highlighted. It highlights the whole thing. You can undo that clicking by just clicking in the space. But if I want to select the whole thing, I just click in this space right over here. Then I go up to Edit and I say Duplicate. I press that and boom, there is a duplicate track with the same name and the same settings and same waveform and everything. How do I distinguish between the two? What I then do is I rename that extra track. I go to name under this little drop down menu right up here in the top, drop down, and I go to name. And then I select, it's probably named the same thing, but I like to put duplicate. Okay, that's my way. Press OK, and you can see it says duplicate right here. Here it says the same thing as it does up here, and it's still the same color. So what do I do to help me distinguish it better? Well, I make sure that both of these are not selected. I go back and I select this one only, the extra track, the duplicate, and then I press name, the drop down, and then I go to wave color, and it looks like they have some different colors here. I'm just going to see what this one does. Okay, it makes it red. Okay, red alert. So now I know that the red one is my extra track. It's a duplicate. Now if I play both of these at the same time, the volume is going to be different on the vocals when it plays than how I want it to originally be with just the one track.
Activation 2. How to engage with all of your senses. The first sense.
You could see how there is some distortion up here. So what do I do to mute that track? Right over here, you have mute and solo. Every one of these has mute and solo. So I'm going to mute it. Alright? And the rest of this track still shows, but it's all gray. Alright? I can unmute it and it'll play. But let's say I want to solo that track as well. Well, solo means only that track in the whole song is going to play. Instead of trying to mute 5 tracks at once because I only want to hear this one, I'd rather solo button that one, and every other track is grayed out. Okay? So I use these extra track features, solo and mute, to go between 2 or 3 or however many options of experimenting with settings and effects, and I compare them. How do I compare them? Easy. The best way to do that is to go up here where there's like a green icon. It says timeline options. I press that and I make sure my loop is on and that there's a check mark next to it. So if I look again after I pressed it, okay, there's a check mark on it now. Okay, so then what I do, let's say I want to select a certain part of this song to loop, so I can dial in and let it repeat and change effects, add effects, compression, whatever it may be. I have my selection tool, and then I hold down and I select this section right here. Okay? And then I let go. It's selected, and you see it's even gray up here. I go back to that same little green arrow, timeline options, and then I say set loop to selection. I press that, and now you can see where it's selected down here, the lines show up, so when I press play, it'll loop that.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey. First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey.
Okay, let's say I only wanted to listen to the music in that loop section. I press solo on it and play. Okay, then what I do, if I want to compare these two vocal tracks, I'll just mute the music track. And let's say I want to add reverb to this track, but I want to hear what reverb sounds like compared to this one. First, I need to select this track, go to my effects, add reverb, turn up the reverb, and do whatever tweaks you want, and press OK. So then what I do is I make sure I select that area of the song again to be looped. And then I go to the timeline options, set loop to selection that I selected, and then I press play.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey. First.
Okay, so I'm going to compare them. I'm going to mute the original so I can only hear the reverb track. And then I'll switch between the two of them. The best way to do that is actually not to mute this one, but to solo this one. And then when I want to hear that one, I press solo on that one. Okay, so I'll do that between the two. Here's the original with my loop.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey.
Reverb.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey.
Original.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey.
Reverb.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey.
Everything.
First, I want you to see a 500-foot tall yellow monkey.
Do you see a yellow monkey? So that's pretty much my process. And so what I'll end up doing is, if I don't like the comparison, I end up tweaking some things. It's really good to use to compare. Even if I'm using compression, let's say there's a little blip sound right here, I could do the same thing. I could change this loop area. Anything you select, you could then go back and say set loop to selection, okay? And then you could simply turn the loop on and off again and, you know, play from the beginning if you want. That's fine too. But that's my process. If you want, you can have all these in different colors. You know, you can make this one instrument 3. Hey, what do you know? We have green. That's the process I do. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, like, share on Facebook, share on YouTube, share on Instagram. Later!